Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333 and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich. Now, last time we played Hearts of Iron 4 together, we hopped into Sweden. We elected the social democratic government and overthrew the monarchy democratically and fairly. But then the military didn't see it like that, so they tried to coup the government. Well, they did. And so the people rose up, got rid of the reactionary elements in government, and established a syndicalist republic, and then we liberated most of the Fennoscandian region from the evils of reactionary. We didn't get Denmark, but we got the rest. We got Norway, we got Finland. Soviets won, so that helped. And then, yeah, it was a good game. I had fun with it, but like all good things, it had to come to an end. So now we have the new 0.10.1 update for Kaiserreich, Blood on the Yangtze, the long-awaited China rework. So let's go ahead and launch in real quick. The country. There's a lot of, as you can see, China's been reworked massively. There are a lot of new tags that weren't there before, and China's a lot more interesting, and I think a lot more fun than it used to be. Now there are a couple options we could hop into play as. We could play as the Qing. We could play as the League of Eight Provinces. We could even play as Tibet, which was my original plan. But I don't want to get banned from China. I went once. I had fun. I'd like to go back. I think just playing and showing that Tibet was independent one time might get my channel or get myself banned from China, but I'll still try not to. So I was going to play as Tibet. I think I hinted at playing as Tibet. And I might hop into Tibet some other time, another day, because they have an interesting enough tree. But I wanted to go ahead and play as someone else, and that little country is Mongolia. Now, Mongolia was, I think when I was seeing the China rework and all the progress reports come out, Mongolia was one that caught my eye and made me think, oh, that's kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and check that out. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and start the game and check it out. Now, for those of you who remember how it used to be in the good old Kaiserreich days, before the China rework, Mongolia is still run right now by Roman von Sternberg, the Mad Baron. Roman von Sternberg, the Mad Baron, had a troubled upbringing, constantly moving, with a father who was committed to insane asylum. His family estate in Estonia was burned down in 1905, which confirmed his anti-peasant and eventually anti-communist beliefs. He eventually joined the Pavlovsky military school in St. Petersburg, where he became interested in the occult and Buddhism. After graduation, he was transferred to Siberia, where he became known for his heavy drinking and dangerous moods. In 1913, he moved to Kovd in Outer Mongolia, and as officer in the detachment of a Russian consulate, after not being allowed to fight for Mongolian independence. The First Weltkrieg, Ungern fought first in Galicia, then after a 2-month prison stint following attacking another officer in a drunken rage in the Caucasus. After the breakout of the Russian Civil War, he fought with Semyonov and the Whites in Siberia, acting relatively independent against the communists. Ungern eventually traveled through China, where he married Manchu Princess Ji. Eventually, he moved to Urga and defeated the Chinese garrison stationed there, restoring the Bagh Khan to the throne and proclaiming Mongolia independent. Ungern himself did not get too involved in Mongol problems, but he kept the peace through force. After narrowly defeating a socialist revolution in 1921 and 1924, he was forced to get more involved. His forces prowled the streets as he hunted out dissidents and purged Mongolian society, including in temples. One of how the fuck do you say that? Jensumdaba Kuktuku was brought to Urga in 1933. Ungern promised he would rule as a regent until the boy came of age. However, Ungern's grip, depending on the Russian military cliques, there are fears he will keep the power for himself. So, unfortunately, we don't have Genghis Khan II anymore, but we still have Ernberg in power, for now. That can change quickly if we're not careful. Or if we are careful and we want him gone, which I'm not. We'll get into what we kind of have planned in a second. So, We start off with 4 national spirits. We got nomadic society, which gives us a hit to political power, bonus to stability, kind of just general penalties, though. For centuries, the Mongolian people have been living in a very nomadic society, moving across Mongolian steppes every year, never settling down. Much of the Mongolian population still live like this, with the biggest settled group of Mongolians being in Urga. So we have that. We also have Scourge of Steppes, which gives us a bonus recruitable population, as well as cavalry attack and defense. The modern Mongolian state was founded by former Russian cavalry officers. These officers, most notably Roman von Ungern Sternberg, have implemented major army reforms to encourage the usage of cavalry. And then we have Russian economic assistance, which gives us a bonus to reduction in consumer goods factories and construction speed. Our close benefit with relationship with Russia has led to many benefits, including economic assistance, allowing us to develop our weak economy. And then finally we have the 9th Jebzundamba Kutuku, born Jampal Nadramol Choki Gyaltsin, is a spiritual leader of Mongolia and Mongolian Buddhism. Currently, he is far too young to lead a nation, but he's still a unifying figure for most Mongolians. Well, that's nice. That's the 9th Jebutsamu Kuthuku. Not to be confused with this guy, the 7th Changyaka Kuthuku. I can't pronounce these names at all. I apologize to any Mongolian viewers who may be watching right now for butchering your language. You might say I'm a moron. Get it? But yeah, if you're going to subscribe to me because of that joke, I understand. So starting off, we have civilian factory, limited exports, and extensive conscription. We have an okay amount of manpower, not too much though, and we kind of gotta hold off. It looks like we can't really do any of these focuses until we stabilize Mongolia. So we gotta hold off for a second. So let's get mechanical engineering going, because we're gonna need that, and then probably construction would be good. We need to get rid of nomadic society, or at least figure something out that gets rid of the tech issues. Is there anything that might do that? How about economy? Doesn't look like it, too much. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Real quick too, let's go ahead and get our divisions all divisioned up. Let's go with Monlai Batar Dombinsuren. Probably butchered that, but an attempt was made. And then for general, let's go with... Got a couple of Rusky generals. We got Lee. We got Demchugdongrub, which isn't that the guy who leads not Menkukuo, or however you say that in the base game? I think that is that guy, yeah. Let's give it to him, I guess. I'm sure nothing bad will happen from that. Actually leaves the Othdem party, but I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Real quick, let me start my timer. Yeah. Introduction to Mongolia. Mongolia was ruled by the Qing dynasty for centuries. It wasn't until the Qinghai Revolution in 1911 where Mongolia declared independence from China. However, the new Republic of China still claimed Outer Mongolia as Chinese territory. This independence was shattered in 1919 when Chinese troops under Zhu Sangzhen occupied Mongolia. Due to fears of Russian invasion, however, in late 1920, White Russian leader Roman von Unberg Sternberg, leading his Asiatic Cavalry Division, moved into Urga and, supported by Buddhist religious leaders of Bagh Khan, defeated the Chinese. Ungern restored the Bagh Khan as leader of the nation and enforced his leadership with an iron fist. He did not rule the nation alone, however, and had to pander to the Mongolian aristocrats and nobles to gain support. Ungern faced resistance primarily from the socialist rebels, founded by the Mongol Arden Nam in 1920. In 1921, these socialists decided to rebel to try to remove Ungern from power. After much fighting, Unburg was able to keep hold of a nation, and the Mongol Arden Nam were forced into hiding. They remained active, however, and rebelled once again in 1924, following the death of Abad Khan, declaring Unburg's authority to rule illegitimate. This revolution failed once again and led to the death of multiple high-up Mon members, primarily the once de facto leader, Damkin Sukbatar. With his death, the group were once again forced to go into hiding. Following the death of Abad Khan, or the 8th, Jensumdamba Kutuku, Unburg ruled his region while trying to figure out the 9th Genbutsu Kuntuku, the most important person in Mongolia for Tibetan Buddhism. When he was found in 1933, he was brought to Urga to be pruned, to eventually lead when he is old enough. Following the purge of multiple lamas in 1930, however, Buddhists and government decided to form the Budin Zavlol, a circle of Buddhist fanatics led by the 7th Chankya Kutuktu, one of the most important people in Tibetan Buddhism. They fear that Unburg will never relinquish his power as regent until his death, and fear that he is leading Mongolia away from the ideals of Buddhism. Well, what about now? In 1936, Mongolia is a dangerous place. Unburg was able to negotiate many treaties of friendship and of support from Russia, allowing him to keep his leadership secure. However, he is faced by many opponents. The Budin Zaval has large strength in government, and many of the aristocrats grow tired of the many taxes Unburg is making them pay to keep the nation afloat. Also, the Mongol Arden Nam, although in hiding, remain active and recruiting. Should Russian support suddenly cease, many people in Mongolia might see it as the time to end the rule of Ungern. However, Mongolia's threats are not only internal. For many years now, border skirmishes have gone on endlessly between Mongolian and Ma clique troops. Much of Inner Mongolia is under the Mon control, and they know their power is under threat. The border between the Ma clique and Tibet is in a similar situation. Yushu province has been taken back multiple times over the years, but for now it sits under Ma control. However, with tension growing in the area once again, it looks like we may have an opportunity to step in and end Ma control in Inner Mongolia. Well, glory be to Mongolia. Real quick, let's get a front line going on the Ma clique. A little bit of an offensive line too. Let's get all our troops going there. We're not going to worry about Russia. I mean, we'll keep an eye on them, but let's keep an eye. Befriend Mongolia. They might demand Tuva, which wouldn't be nice, but hopefully they'll just do a friendship treaty, you know? That'd be nice. So we'll have to pay a little bit attention to Mongolia. Not obviously Mongolia, because we're playing as Mongolia, but Russia. Maybe Xinjiang and the Khanate here. I'm not sure. Oh, Kerensky's been shot? Who would have thought? Huh. So, real quick before we start, China and Qing, because this is the first time I'm playing Kaiserreich, so in case you guys don't know, which the update's been out for a month, so you might know already. The Qing Empire has its own faction led by Qing, obviously, but it's not going to last for long. The Russians aren't watching. An awful event has occurred. President Kerensky, who has been able to keep the Russian Republic from open rebellion for decades, has been killed. During his presidency, we were able to broker many economic and military deals, allowing our extremely weak economy to grow. Although Kerensky did not allow the House of Romanov to rightfully retake the throne, he was still better than the Reds, and allowed our friendship to grow strong. However, everything has all been brought to question. Any sign of stability that Kerensky brought to Russian politics was lost in the momentum the bullet struck his body. With many trying to fill the power vacuum Kerensky has left, it seems we have been forgotten. There are worrying signs that we might lose the Russian support that our nation has become dependent on. Well, let's hope we come back, because their assistance is kind of vital. See, I like how they changed that from, economic and military assistance from Russia has been temporarily halted. What we have feared has come true. We have just received word from the current Russian administration that they have decided to temporarily end their military and economic aid to our nation. Without it, we will only suffer. Fuck. That's not good. So, the Man Party has got a bunch of a little bit of support. Whew. Totalist Charter. Ja Lama bandit spot in Western Mongolia. Mongolia is a nation regularly plagued by banditry and raiding. Due to the sheer size of a nation compared to its minimal population, it is difficult to find these bandits and bring them to justice. However, following Ungern's ascension to power in 1921, he clamped down on any resistance, sending his forces out to the deepest areas of Mongolia to root out bandit groups. The brutality of Ungern's forces had become rather famous in Mongolia, mercilessly torturing and killing any bandits, criminals, or resistance fighters they found. Many bandits went into hiding for fear of being executed by what they have become known as Ungern's death squads. However, over the years, Ungern has been having more and more trouble in keeping Mongolia in his grip. Man rebels are regularly disrupting supply lines, and bandit activity has been growing more and more, especially in the west, where our troops are spread very thin. With Russian money, we were able to put down forces, sometimes even through bribery. However, with Russia declaring their aid to us will be halted, many bandit groups seem to be coming out of their caves, most notably Ya Lama's Yumbazi bandits. Ja Lama was an independence fighter and warlord back in the 1910s. Ordering all the envoys we sent to him went into hiding, with Russian aid ending, leading to an availability to keep control of these western regions. Ya Lama's group has decided to come back to cracks to reign in terror once more. Well, I don't want to keep an eye on that, because that does not sound good. No. We got Eddie. A bandit raid, Kovd village. It appears that some of our war fears have become a reality. We were just getting reports that Ja Lama's group has just raided and pillaged a small nomadic community just north of Kovd. By the time some of our troops got there, all that was left was burned tents and dead bodies. The bandits could be seen in the distance, but our troops did not give chase, primarily due to the size of the group. According to the troops that saw it, the group was massive, and they could not easily beat the garrisons in places like Kovd or Uliastai? I don't know. Hopefully they do not attempt to move like that. It's a one-time thing, right? I'm sure. What are the mob up to? What is it? New taxes? It's an emergency meeting that kicks off all the events in Qing. Well, they're starting this. Oop. Bandits defeat local militia. Following the raiding of a nomad village, a local military leader decided to act. He gathered a small force of militia from the nearby tribes and villages, armed them with whatever old guns he could find, and traveled out to confront them. Hopes were high, and they expected little resistance and good results. It was a massacre. Of a large group that traveled out to get them, very few made it back. The survivors said that the force was huge, numbers maybe even thousands. Not only this, but apparently their forces were organized far more than any bandit gang should be. There are fears that these may not just be simple bandits. Ungern's leadership has been characterized by his ruthless attitude towards any opposition, and in doing this he has found himself with many enemies throughout the country. With Russia pulling out its aid, perhaps it is not only the bandits coming out of hiding. Are we blind? Deploy the Kovd garrison. Kovd City Guard lay down arms. Fuck. After securing out the call from the Kovd garrison to move in and defeat the bandit group, we got a strange response. The Kovd Guard refused to attack the bandits. The leading officer stationed there has sent us a message stating, "My troops refuse to fight against their brothers. For too long we have received no aid or help from Urga. The only thing you, Ungern Sternberg, have done for us is murder our families in the name of securing your reign. This is no longer simple banditry. It is time for change. We have sent our response back, but it will be a while before we receive it. By that point, it might be too late." What the fuck is going on? This is not good. For Sternberg, at least. Fifth Anglo-Afghani War. The Western Rebellion. Fuck. The situation is much worse than first expected. It seems that it was not only bandits that had returned to Mongolia, Ungern's dictatorial leadership, but there are other factions involved. Extreme Buddhist monks have radicalized many of the peasants who now rise up against us. Others have joined the Mongol Ardan Nam, a revolutionary socialist group. Following failed revolutions in 1921 and 1924, the group went into hiding. But in the chaos they see now as a time to rise up once again. Thankfully, all the groups oppose each other just as much as they oppose Ungern, so there's much infighting. In the western cities of Kov and Ulyastai, rebels rose up and charged into the government building, killing our mayors and claiming that Unberg's rule is illegitimate. Although their force is small compared to our full army, the chaos this rebellion will give Unberg's opponents in Orga the chance to dismantle Unberg's regime. Well, they have to be crushed. Unlocks for Western rebellion decisions. Lose stability, lose war support, lose political power. Gain Western rebellion, which makes us lose even more political power, stability, and war support. And then this area becomes the demilitarized zone, and it's not a core of Mongolia anymore. So, yeah. Can make the offer. Black Monday? Well, that's not... I wonder if Black Monday affects us at all. We could make the offer. Today we received a letter from a few of bandits in the West. In the letter it said that their groups do not have any stake in what is developed. They came for simple banditry, but has turned into all-out rebellion. The letter goes on to say that although their groups continue to fight in the West, they would be willing to stop if given some money and supplies. It's a large amount of money which we will need to find, but it will help reduce the size of chaos in the West. Just fucking raise taxes on poor people. It's not like they're gonna do anything, you know? Sure, it'll be fine. We have a Shangqing Tianguo, which is the weird cult. Yeah. Poland's declared the Republic. Yeah. I hope that music doesn't get picked up, because I'm not trying to get a copyright strike. After sending in some of our troops to retake a town meets at Ulyasai that has been previously taken by man rebels, they armed the peasants of Akdan with as many guns as they could get. Bolstered by bandits sympathetic to our cause, they threw up some small fortifications and prepared for our assault. Following some of our troops defecting to the rebels, our forces were crushed by the man insurgents. News of man victory travels fast across the country, being romanticized as a heroic battle against Unberg's evil death squads. Damn. The bandit leader takes a bribe. The bandit leaders have taken our offer and have decided to end their operations in the West. In times of brutal battle, good news like this should be celebrated, but a quiet drink is all Roman von Unberg Sternberg had time for before having to return to keep Orga in his hands. We could reinforce troops in the West, but I don't know, do we want Ernberg staying around? Ooh, speaking of Qing. Yeah, Qing stability. Yep, Marshall is back on Qing. Yeah, so, that's a little too far. Yeah, but a little faction is gone, and now it's just a bunch of infighting. Jemchug-Dongram meets with aristocratic council. Over the past few weeks, the aristocrats, under the de facto leadership of Prince Jemchug-Dongram, no idea if that's how you pronounce it, but give it a best shot that you can, have been increasing their activity, having many meetings and speaking to many in our government. Perhaps they are just fearful of a Western rebellion. However, it is no secret that they disdain Ungern and his Russian-dominated leadership, and so perhaps these meetings have greater importance. And it's suspicious, but I don't know, we'll wait and see. So yeah, the League of Eight Provinces, A changes for Nanjing clique, B is starting to implode on itself. Qing is supporting the Anqing, and right now Shangqing is taking them out. Anqing, the left KMT as well. Hold up. The Bundeswehr demands we allocate funds to repair raided monasteries. The Bundeswehr, who we suspect are directly funding the Buddhist extremists in the West, have demanded we allocate funding to be used to repair the monasteries in the West. The group has very large influence in our government due to many of our officials being active members. However, the amount of funding they demand is ridiculous and we'll be able to raise it by ourselves. I'll set aside some funds. Gotta do the best we can. Don't want any of these factions getting too much power. These factions, at least. There goes democracy in Australasia. I'll wait and see how that ends up for him. So far, so good. Bandits burn Altai City, hundreds homeless. A group of bandits in the west have completely destroyed Altai City, raiding it for food and money, then razing the buildings to the ground. This has left hundreds of people without homes or food. There are many problems when trying to help them. It will cost a large amount of money to pay for aid and to get the people safely. Our main source of money are the nobles' treasuries, but to continue to take their money will lead to further disdain from them. There's another option, however. We have the ability to secretly send the aid to the man rebels who will reach Altai. Although it will make man look like the heroes, it will possibly save the lives of hundreds of people, or at least dissuade some of them from joining our rebellion. Fuck it, work with them. Help them out. I'm sure this won't come back to bite us in the face. Oh, look at him, he's chilling. Oh, we can change our economy law. Let's go to early mobilization. Oh, chaos in the capital. Due to a conflict in the west of a nation, most of our generals and army leaders have been forced to leave the capital. A large amount of these army officers and generals are extremely loyal to Ungern due to a large amount of money Ungern spends on the armed forces, and the fact that the officer class is dominated by white Russians who remain with Ungern after the civil war ended in the north. The loyalty is one of the main reasons Ungern has been able to stay in power for so long. The problem for Ungern is clear. With most of the Ungern loyalists leaving Urga to go to the west, opposing political factions are seeking their chance to act. The Man Party has always had decent support in Urga, although being illegal, and many of the peasants hold sympathies to them. Both the Bundeswehr and the Yazgutan Survalian, however you say that, have great influence in the government and stand ready to move in and take over given a chance. Ungern must walk a fine line between the factions if he is to survive the next few months. Ungern is under threat. What do we want to do? Could grab aristocrats. Seed power. Try to sow discontent. Or we could do not. Oh! Doesn't even matter. Mongol Arnam has seized power, and Urga now have destroyed control over the nation. So we couldn't even do anything. For democracy. Yep. Just like that. Okay, transfer to the garrison. Let's try and reinforce with troops in the west. So is that all? Monastery is destroyed in siege. After a large battle, some Fanagbu's fighters retreated back to their monastery nearby. Our forces chased after them, and the battles continued in the monastery. By the end of the fighting, Boots had mostly collapsed. Most of the monks in the monastery were killed, and to make matters worse, some of our men stole most of their valuables and supplies. After hearing this news, the Buddhists of all are demanding we won't pay to rebuild and repair the broken monastery. Fuck. Alright, take their money. We're socialists anyway. That's how that works. So, is the Western Rebellion gonna end soon, or what's the deal? Oh, is that Battle Pope? Is that Battle Pope I see? Oh shit, we got Battle Pope in. We also got a lack of time. Or a, we can't record anymore. We gotta cut it here, folks. So, That's all the time we have. Thank you for watching. Like this video, go and leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of my content in the future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concerns, anything of the sort, go ahead and leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments. I appreciate any and all feedback you kind of folks might have for me. If you want to support financially, I have a Patreon link below. You can send a few bucks my way if you are so inclined. If not, I do understand, but I'd appreciate it if you could. Also have a Discord down link below if you want to check that out. We can chat, play games, just have a fun old time, generally. So yeah, that's about it, folks. My name has been Doggo333. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.